Hi, Steve Avellino here, corrective exercise specialist and specialist in senior fitness with reverse the aging processes. The Stoughton Senior Center asked me to come and film a movement piece, and I do, along with other people, a lot of programs at the Stoughton Senior Center helping seniors with movement. Today, what we're going to be talking about are movement snacks. So a movement snack is once an hour, do movement for 60 seconds. So it isn't like you have to work out, set a bunch of time away to do this. Reason we're doing this is age is not measured in years, it is measured in lack of motion. So if you take a look at the blue zones in the world, 5 areas that have the highest percentage of people over the age of 100 years with good quality of life, they all move, and not necessarily exercise in the gym, but different movements. If you think of the body as a vessel where 60% water, the body is 80% water in the brain. So if I were to sit down, my body, the water in my body is now assuming the shape of this vessel. The problem is when we're sitting in this position, and we sit in this position way too many hours of the day, certain things happen to the body. First of all, our hip flexors, right through here, that go underneath and attach to the spine, are now shortened, okay? So if you sleep in the fetal position, you are sitting while you're sleeping as well. But say you're sleeping in the fetal position, you're on a plane, you're watching a movie, what's the first thing you do when you get up? It is this. You're trying to lengthen the hip flexors, okay? So if you can do a movement snack, 60 seconds every hour of the day, you're going to help with those issues, which are shortening of the hip flexors when sitting and internal rotation and rounding of the thoracic spine when sitting. And if you can eliminate those two issues, the chances of you being hunched over as you age are far lesser. And if you're not hunched over, if your center of mass is over your base of support, much less chance of falling as well. Okay, so let's take a look at the movement snacks. The first one we're going to look at is what is called the glute squeeze. So your feet are together, or they're parallel, and you're squeezing the glutes together. So let's try this. When you squeeze the glutes together, they become active, okay? When the glutes are active, they're the primary stabilizers of the hip, and there's much less chance of falling if your glutes are active. When you are sitting, the glutes start to turn off, okay? When the hip flexors are overly active from sitting, the glutes start to turn off. It's called reciprocal inhibition. If I were to make a bicep muscle, the tricep has to turn off for me to create this joint action, okay? When Governor Baker closed everything down with COVID and I could no longer see my private clients, 3 of them who had okay balance started falling. Reason, sitting, hip flexors becoming overactive, glutes shutting off. Once I was able to see them again and do a lot of glute work with them, the falling stopped. Another thing that's important with the movement snacks is I have a private client. I can go to his house, do an assessment. His balance is way off base. And then we do 5 minutes of movement snacks and his balance is better. So this happens really, really quickly. So once again, glute squeeze, feet parallel. You're just going to take your glutes, your muscles of your butt, squeeze them hard together. You're going to feel them become active. You're going to notice that your knees and ankles go into a neutral position. You may find if your glutes are really underactive, when you do that, it's going to change the position of your rib cage. Okay, so let's do a few of these. We're just going to squeeze the glutes together for a few seconds, relax, squeeze the glutes together for a few seconds, relax, and again. So this is one of the movement snacks. So you can set it up on your watch or an alarm or something, or even a particular commercial that, at the top of the hour, do a 60-second movement. And the first one is the glute squeeze. Second movement we can do is a step up. If you have a small box, a chair, though a chair may be dangerous, if you have balance issues, you're just going to do a step up. If you go to certain bars, like the 99 in Canton will have a brass bar underneath the actual bar. That brass bar has increased alcohol sales immensely because if you're just standing on 2 feet, after a while, the body doesn't like it. If you put your foot up for 30 seconds, the body's going to adjust to that. You do the other side and you'll stay and buy another beer. So they've been using that in bar rooms for ages. These movement snacks also work well for people who are at a desk all day. I have a handful of clients in their 20s and 30s at desks 10 or 12 hours a day. They now do the movement snacks and they're not getting up at the end of the day all stiff, which you shouldn't be doing when you're age 27 anyway. So the step up, you can find a small box, maybe an ottoman as long as you're safe, and just second move, put one foot up for 30 seconds, the other foot up for 30 seconds. It's amazing what these things are going to accomplish in a short period of time. Okay, the next one we're going to do is a hydrant. For this one, you're going to grab the kitchen sink, okay, because I want you to be able to hold on to something that's steady, and you're just taking your leg and bringing it behind you, holding in the air. This is activating, once again, the glutes. Sitting, hip flexion, leg behind the spine, hip extension. And we want to be in hip extension as much as possible. Once again, the glutes become active, they stabilize the hips, the hip flexors start to turn off a little bit. And that's what we're looking for. So you can grab the kitchen sink, one leg, do not bend the knees, straight leg, you don't have to go back far, just a little bit. Contract the glutes. 30 seconds one side, 30 seconds the other side. And that is your movement snack. If you are in a position where you feel unsafe with a movement or there's any pain, you can email me, Steve Avellino, Avellino @yahoo.com, and I will find you an alternate movement. So the next thing, we've now worked on the glutes and the hips for hip stabilization to counteract the lower body effects of sitting. Now we're going to look at the upper body. When we sit, this usually happens, especially if you're watching a movie and a glass or two of wine, you just kind of start to slouch over. This is the second effect of sitting. Once again, in this position all the time, you can start to become hunched over as you age. The best way to rectify that is to bring the shoulder blades, your scapular, together. So what we're doing here, if you take a look at my shoulder blades, I am just lightly squeezing them together. If I'm sitting, my chest closes, my shoulders internally rotate. This happens. If I squeeze my shoulder blades together, my scapula, the chest opens up, the shoulders externally rotate, and now you've counteracted the upper body effects of sitting. If these muscles back here in the shoulder blades are highly active, you're always going to be in this position. You're not going to be hunched over. In turn, in this position, once again, my center of mass is over my base of support, less chance of falling. Okay? The next thing you can do, if you are able, as long as you're safe and there's no pain, would be into a half kneeling position. So you want to hold on to the chair once again, as long as you are safe and there is no pain. This is one of the movements we did as babies, and this was the 5th movement in what is called the neurodevelopmental sequence of babies. And from here, the next move was standing up. So you'll want to do 30 seconds each side if you are able to. And once again, I cannot stress enough, if you are safe doing so. From there, we're going to go to the upper body again. We're taking our shoulder blades. We are squeezing them together. We're now taking our arms with our thumbs out and bringing them back. So this is activating all the muscles around the thoracic spine. But once again, sitting position, I'm closed, my shoulders are internally rotated. If I squeeze the shoulder blades together and now take my arms, bring them backwards gently with my thumbs out, this really opens up this area. And that is really important because then you won't end up being hunched over. Next thing we're going to do is the single leg position, once again holding on to the sink. In a single leg position here, your postural stabilizer muscles around the core here have to fire. But once again, you're going to want to hold on to the sink, okay, to make sure you're safe. So 30 seconds one side, 30 seconds the other side. Now, those are the only movements you have to do in the snacks to counteract the effects of sitting. So let's go over them again, and I will do these with you. First, glute squeeze, glutes, muscles of the butt. We are squeezing them together. Do like maybe 6 sets of 10 seconds, 4 sets of 15 seconds. When the glutes are active, the hip flexors shut off, and the hip flexors are what causes us problems as we age. So, feet parallel, perfectly straight. Squeeze the glutes. You may find that your knees and ankles start to move outwards, okay? They're just becoming more neutral, which is where we want to be, okay? Relax, squeeze the glutes again. Relax, squeeze the glutes again. You will find over time, as the glutes become more active, you're going to feel them less when you do these movements. That's a good thing. Okay, next thing, step up. You can use a short box, whatever you're comfortable with, and 30 seconds each side. And then the other side. If you were to do movement snacks every day for 2 to 3 months, your body will start to recalibrate, and you'll notice when you get up from a chair or out of a plane or a movie or whatever, that there's going to be less tightness in the body, especially if you're sitting at a desk all day long. Okay, hydrants, we are grabbing the sink and just one leg behind you. Tighten up the glute. You may feel a stretch here. Oh, when you're doing the hydrants, you may feel some slight cramping in the back of the legs and the hamstrings. That's normal, reason being we are hardly ever in hip extension. So if that happens, just take a break for a few seconds, try it again. That should go away after 2 or 3 days if it happens at all. Scapular retraction, bringing the shoulder blades together, nice and relaxed. Hold. Forward. Make sure when you're doing this movement, you're just moving the shoulder blades back. You're not moving the arms back. Okay, strictly shoulder blades. This may take a while to make the mind-muscle connection because we really don't move the shoulder blades, retract them, move them backwards. Okay, from there, once again, we can do half kneeling if you are safe and there's no pain. Also, considering the 90-degree angle of the knee, if you were to get off the floor, this is the position that you should be in. There's different ways to get off the floor, but this is one of the positions you can be in. And then you would just alternate sides. We are now going to bring the shoulder blades together again. Arms back, gently, thumbs out. Once again, what we're doing here, we're activating all these muscles around the thoracic spine, and we're taking this shape from sitting and making it this shape. So you see the chest opens up right along the clavicle, and the shoulders externally rotate, which is where we want to be. Hold on to the sink. Single leg. Once again, working all the postural stabilizers here. And then you're going to do other side. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 exercises, so a minute apiece. So let's do that. So we will start off once again with the glute squeeze. Feet parallel. We're going to squeeze the glutes for about 60 seconds. Actually, we'll do 30. Relax. Squeeze. Relax. Squeeze. Relax. And squeeze. So all we're doing is we're tightening up the muscles of the butt. You will find, once again, your ankles and knees may feel like they're going outwards. That's a good thing. We have a tendency for our knees and ankles to collapse as we age or move inward. Let's go to the step up. Once again, you can use something this high if you want. It doesn't have to be high at all. And just the foot up. Once again, they use these at bars where there's a bar underneath the bar, and just the fact that you are able to put your foot up on it changes the way your body feels, and you may stay for that extra drink. So think about if you were standing watching an athletic event, you would get tired after a while, okay? Just having the ability to put your foot up for 30 seconds recalibrates everything in the body. So once again, 30 seconds each side. This would be movement snack number 2. Movement snack number 3, we are grabbing the sink and we're doing the hydrant, which is bringing the leg behind the spine. This is hip extension, activates the glutes, stabilizes the hips, and more importantly, starts to turn off the hip flexors, okay? When the hip flexors are tight and overactive, the glutes shut off, and then falling starts happening and instability. Let's go with the shoulder blades again. If you have problems getting in this position, start, and I'll do this from the side as well, shoulder blades forward, shoulder blades backwards. If you find yourself moving your arms, put your hands in your pockets so you can't move your arms. So we'll take a look from the side. Shoulder blades forward, shoulder blades backwards. For those of you who have shoulder pain, this can help. I have probably at least a dozen clients now that had shoulder pain that is now gone. Also with the glute squeezes and the stuff that works the knees, I have 38 people now with back pain or knee pain that is gone. One of my clients actually canceled her knee surgery because the pain was gone. Another thing you can try, if you're safe, if you have a hallway in your house, put a fingertip or a hand on each wall and try walking backwards. Few steps at a time. This will help with back pain and knee pain as well, but only do it if you're safe. If you have someone that can hold your hands while you're doing it, you don't have to do a lot. After a couple weeks, the fear is going to go away, and it's going to help immensely with back and knee pain. Okay, so once again, shoulder blades, I'm squeezing them together. You can see the whole chest opens, the shoulders externally rotate. If you have problems making the mind-muscle connection on this, think about bringing the shoulder blades forward because we do this all the time. So that's easier, and then just alternate. Once again, if you find you're moving your arms, put your hands in your pockets, forwards, backwards. After a while, you'll have the mind-muscle connection here. Once these muscles become active in the back here in the thoracic spine, you'll be standing up straighter. I should have brought the pictures in. I did not. I had a client, 86 years old, hunched over like this, classified as a high fall risk. Her posture changed to this in 5 one-hour sessions, okay? Corrective exercise. Once you activate the muscles, muscle has memory, and it remembers what it's supposed to do. Okay, so let's try half kneel again. Once again, if you're unsafe or unable to do this, don't worry about it. So we're just hanging out. This is going to work the core as well. It's going to start to loosen up the hips and groin area. Most importantly, this is one of the positions that help us get off of the floor. And then you're just going to alternate sides. Out of all the movement snacks, this is the one I would be most leery about. So once again, only if you can do it and do it safely. Let's go to the shoulder blades again for upper body. Shoulder blades together, arms back gently, thumbs pointing out. So when you're doing this, if I'm sitting and I'm here, okay, which is where most of us are, if I just lengthen here, squeeze the shoulder blades together, arms back, thumbs out gently, my posture should look pretty good right now. And once again, in this position, center of mass over base of support, okay? So less chance of falling. Grab the sink, single leg stance. This is going to work all your postural stabilizer muscles. Postural stabilizer muscles are super important because they're all about balance. If I have someone on a balance beam or a wobble board in this position, I always hear, oh, I'm not going to do well on this side. This is my bad leg. It's not the leg, okay? It's right through here. I was on a wobble board when I first got it. I'm standing on it on one foot and the thing wobbles. I did it as a male, I overdid it. So I probably spent about a half hour total time on the board. The next morning I felt like I'd done 1 billion sit-ups. And all I was doing was standing on a wobbly board like this. Because it's all core, it's all postural stabilizers, and those are the first muscles to go as we age because of all the sitting we do. So, once again, glute squeeze, feet parallel, squeeze the glutes, relax, squeeze the glutes, relax. You're doing that for 60 seconds. That's movement snack number 1. Second movement snack, I don't care how high it is. It could be 3 inches, it could be 6 inches. Just elevate one leg, 30 seconds, 30 seconds on the other side. Movement snack number 3, we're grabbing the sink and we are bringing the leg behind the spine. Squeeze the glute. 30 seconds one side, 30 seconds other side. If you are getting fatigued or muscle cramping, don't do the full 60 seconds. But do a little bit and try to be faithful once an hour. I mean, even if you had 7 of these, 8 of these moves, and you did them, once an hour for just 6 or 8 hours a day, work your way through the list. It's going to make a big difference in the way you move as you age, and you'll probably notice a difference within a couple months if you're faithful doing them. Okay, let's go to shoulder blades together again. Once again, if you have problems making the mind-muscle connection and you can't do this movement, go forwards and then backwards. Hands in the pocket so you're not using the arms. This is just upper body. Once again, these are super important muscles and we never use them, and that's why we end up being hunched over as we age. We've already done the half kneel. Let's go back to the shoulder blades. Together, arms out, thumbs back. When you're doing this, we're not forcing it, okay? This is a gentle movement, and we're just hanging out. But once again, if you take a look at my clavicular region, when we sit, this closes, shoulders internally rotate. This is how most people sit. In this position here, shoulder blades together, you see the chest opens up. Now arms out, thumbs back, and you can see my shoulders are now externally rotating, which is what we're looking for. This is the way we used to stand when we were kids, and then we sat down for 50 years and all hell broke loose. Okay, last one again, single leg. And this works all the postural stabilizers. So once again, you can do this holding on to the sink, and then 30 seconds if possible on the other side. So once again, the reason we're doing the movement snacks is we sit all the time. Sometimes 10 or 12 hours a day, and then in turn these muscles shorten and tighten, pull us forward. These muscles here become overactive, these become weak, this happens, and now we're in a position like this. The other thing to remember are 2 recovery strategies. Most important things you can do for your health are sleep and hydration, okay? Sleep is kind of tough. I'm a poor sleeper, but you want to try to, get as much as possible. Hydration is something we can control. Ideally, unless it's medically contraindicated, you should drink half your body weight in ounces every day. Okay, so if you weigh 150 pounds, 75 ounces should be the max, which is a lot of water, but try to do that. It makes a huge difference on your balance. I had a woman on a balance beam. She was very dehydrated. According to her doctor, her balance was all over the place. Doctor told her to drink a lot of water. She did that for a week. Balance was great afterwards. Okay, so recovery strategies, sleep and hydration, the two most important things you can do. Once again, I'm Steve Avellino, corrective exercise specialist in senior fitness. I can be contacted at Reverse the Aging Processes on the web, or Steve Avellino, SteveAvellino at yahoo.com if you have any questions. Once again, I do a class at the Stoughton Senior Center on Fridays if that's something of interest. Thank you very much.